Matuisa tossed it towards Morientes. And then Gerrard! Oh! Oh, goodness! What a strike!
Welcome to From Outside the Box. It's been a while. Where, just like some of our favorite goals, our views of football are outside the box. So, yeah, it's been a while.
Yep.
Shallows, how's the vine? How's the Aussie weather?
All good. Yeah, I know. It's a full-on winter here now. So, yeah, a little bit biting, rainy. And but we have to enjoy all types of weather, advice.
What to do? Similar, yeah. Let me just move my camera, but central. Yeah, similar, yeah. It was cold. Looks like the sun is coming back. But advice in Durban,
Durban barely has a winter.
Hey, so it's on and off, but some decent weather. I was looking at the Premier League, how things have changed. But I was looking at the Champions League and I was like, is the things been changing in the Premier League in a similar way? And not really, but what I've noticed is that in the transfer window, not just the activity has picked up, right, but the activity of young players being bought and sold. So I don't know if something's happening. But I think maybe, from my perspective, I think maybe they're pumping more money into youth football. The under 18 leagues are looking more and more professional, especially with the broadcasting. So I don't know if more money is getting pumped into that, or clubs just looking at a point where they're like, okay, you know what? This thing about overspending in every window, let's try it a different way. So is it looking like that?
Yeah, I think, like I said, like before, I think Chelsea was doing this before everybody. They were buying thousands of lighties and loaning them out. I remember at one time there was 50 lighties they loaned out, and most of those lighties most of them never played for Chelsea ever, and they've been sold. And some were hyped up and tipped to be the next big thing. There's so many. I don't even know to go through the list. I'm sure you can remember some lighties that you thought.
I think
and some
Paisan, Lucas Paisan.
Paisan was one of them. And not many actually became these big stars. But what Chelsea did well, and I always just say this, even though I'm not a fan of what Chelsea do, but with that part, they made money off youngsters. They made a lot of money off youngsters.
I coined it.
Right? And I think a lot of the teams finally caught on and they realized, okay. But it's a win-win for everyone because those kids, a lot of them still are in professional football. They may have not reached the heights that they were hyped up to reach, but they definitely got careers. A lot of them got careers in football, which is the ultimate dream. Like, if you're getting paid to play football, that's basically the dream. And it's up to them how far they want to go. So a lot of teams are actually seeing that, hey, you know what? It's to gamble on youth is actually not a bad thing, because if they become this mega star or this super important player to the club, big win for the club. But then if you're making every season, you're making 5 to 10 million just off selling players that never ever played for you. It's something.
That's
and
true.
You develop their career, you put their name out there. So I don't know what the agreement is with these kids, but it looks like that's probably it. They must be telling them, hey, you may not play for us, or you might, depending on how good you are. But either way, you're gonna have a football career.
Right.
Either way. And you're gonna earn decent money because you're coming from us. They can't, like, if another team buys you, if you're coming from, let's say, Derby County or something like that, other teams they don't really need to pay you that much. But if you're coming from Chelsea or you're coming from Liverpool, you're coming from Arsenal, you're coming from Man City, Man United, you're coming from the top teams, or even just say Premier League teams. If you're coming from a Premier League team, especially the top half of the Premier League, other clubs will have to pay you decent money to play for them.
Right.
So I think a lot of clubs are catching on to that. And like I said, if the player develops and becomes really good, then it's a win-win situation. Because
it's a win-win for both.
Because if you look at it, like the players that came through our academy, because we follow our team more closely than other teams, it's actually the players that started off from a young age at the club. Not many of the ones brought in, like when they were a little older, became like first team players or stars. Like if you look at, like, Trent became a star and with us, and now it's Kwanzaa and Bradley are developing to become, and they've also been there from a young age. So yet over the years we've bought so many players from Spain, from all parts of the world, and these kids were hyped up, but some of them don't even know where they are. I saw what's his name, Danny Pacheco. The one time I was like, yo, I remember this dude was hyped up to
wow. What a throwback. Pacheco.
Hey, and it was like how, and it just made me think, hey, not many of these that were bought from other countries. Some went back to the teams they came from. So I think that's what's really happening now, is that teams are developing the license, but it's either for profit or they're going to help the club. Either way, they're helping the club.
Exactly.
So it's not really a bad thing. It's good for kids because now the net is open wider. Like if you notice now, the licenses are from all over.
Right.
They're from all over the world now. It's no more just South America, Spain. It used to be South America and Spain for some reason. Those two countries, those two areas were scouted them heavily. But now, if you look, even South African boys are going into these clubs. So
a lot of South Africans in Sweden, Norway. Yeah, a lot of
and they're very good at developing. They're very good at developing because they focus on the basics, that's what you need. And that's why I get so annoyed at Barcelona, because they had the formula and they squashed it up and burnt it, put petrol, and every season they're putting more and more petrol just to keep that thing burning. I'm like, why would you have the formula and throw it in the bush like that?
Deep. La Masia was the standard at one point, and now it's just...
them and Ajax were like Ajax is actually the forefather of this.
Yeah.
But they were also part of a developing license and play their style of ball for them. And but now, anyway, to go back to the youth thing and the influx of kids coming into clubs and keeps going out of clubs, and because we saw a lot of teams are actually getting rid of the youngsters now after keeping them for a few seasons and buying other youngsters. What's going on?
Right.
So interesting though. It's an interesting,
very, very interesting
football. Yeah.
Because I won't lie, there was a time where me and the whole following youth players thing. There was a time I was very, very passionate about, especially Liverpool's first team. And there was those players where we singled out and we're like, these lights are going to be... And, you're confident about it. Jerome Sinclair, Bobby Duncan, you had those players. And particularly Jerome Sinclair, Jordan Ibe. Jordan Ibe kind of, or Ibe, depending how you want to say it. But he also broke through to the first team at least. And then I don't know what happens. And the local boy Adam Morgan. Remember Adam Morgan, the striker?
Yes.
Everybody thought he's the next Fowler. And I think when those three kind of their careers just took a nosedive, I think most of them ended up in like Sunday league teams. That's when I kind of lost interest in it. But then I saw recently there's like a resurgence in investment in developing youth, and not just from a money perspective, but also from a coaching perspective. It seems like light is, for those who don't know, slang word for young people. Lighties are getting coached on a tactical level where as soon as they step in, and as you mentioned, you alluded to this a bit earlier about a blueprint in the club, being there's a blueprint in the club that's being implemented not just from the first team but through to right from the academy through to the first team. So if you look at like preseason, you're watching Train Yoni and he's just slotting into the team and you're like, that just seems to be a thing where it seems like the academy and the first team training centers are no longer gap. There's no longer a gap between them. There seems to be a whole lot of exchanging of well, I don't know about other teams, but as you said, we focus a lot on our team. But it seems like, and we saw that progressing with Klopp because he mentioned Alex Inglethorpe a lot, academy director. He mentioned him a lot and how he speaks to him regularly. So it seems to be a thing with most managers at the moment, and they're not just developing these lighties to loan them out or anything, but it seems like they're developing them to even sell them for big figures. And speaking of that, we can just maybe transition into the transfer window. The same thing seems to be happening with the young. Look at the prices the youngsters are going for. I think Sepp van der Berg just went now for 25 million to Brentford, and Fabio. Well, he's not from our academy. He's from the Fulham Academy, I think. But Fabio Carvalho as well went for big money. And he hardly got any first team minutes. So there seems to be a transition with regards to treating the youth development of the youth players very, very seriously, and we can see it in the window.
And it is very serious because if you listen to what Slot said, it's the players that wanted first team and his first team football, and he said he can't promise that.
Exactly.
Like
he was very honest.
If they want to stay and fight, they can fight. But he had to tell them that the senior players here, they've been here for a while.
Right.
You can't just assume you're starting ahead of this guy. And he singled out Salah, and he said, like, this players like Salah, has done so much for the club. I can't just put a youngster ahead of Salah if he has a few bad moments. But if it's a trend and he's really out of form, obviously, he'll get replaced. But he can't just, which I think it's quite a good statement for players that are in the first team and for players that are aspiring to be first team players, because it shows you that once you're in the first team and you've proven yourself, he's not going to throw you in the bush because now you're having a few bad moments of you. It's also a good thing for the Lighty Kwanzaa because he was singled out and because he was substituted tactically because, like Slot clarified, he said he didn't lose all his duels, but he lost some important ones just before the break.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize that's where he's similar to Klopp, is that the whole strategy is based on winning the ball back. Like everything we do, they call it transition. It's big in Germany. But once you win the ball back, everything happens. So if you lose that duel, it puts a lot of people out of position because now it's almost like the whole team is based on you winning that duel, and then from there everybody breaks out into their positions to attack. So it may seem like a small thing. It may seem like, that's a bit harsh, but that's the game plan. And Kwanzaa knows too the fact that he came out in the press conference and said Kwanzaa asked, can he train on Sunday? Because he says normally the guys that play on the Saturday don't go to the Sunday training session. But Kwanzaa felt that he didn't perform well enough, so he wants to train. And he didn't play a full game. So people look at it as, in our community, look at it as creeping. So, whatever, creeper. But they said, like, the word from, like, the club, before even all this happened, is that Kwanzaa is a perfectionist. He wants to be the best centre-back ever. That's he's always played. Like, how you players have played different positions. He only played centre-back.
He stayed in centre back.
And that's the difference with Kwanzaa. Like, he's a centre back and he loves being a centre back. That's what he wants. Like, you get these centre backs that want to be either they want to play midfield or they want to do many
especially
other things,
if they are looking for the path to the first team. They try different positions. Yeah.
Kwanzaa was like centre back or nothing. Like that, I'm a centre back. So he's got that mentality that, and he got his head screwed on properly. He's got his tunnel vision. He's focused, and I think he's with the right manager who's straightforward and will tell him. Same like Klopp. They said Klopp was like that arm around the shoulder, but he'll actually tell you that you're flopping here and there and there. You need to work on this, that, and that. So they're blessed in that they've had good managers that in terms of development. And that's the tricky part. Like me talking about Slot like that in this few people think, hey, I'm hyping this man up. He's only been there a couple of months. It's just from what I'm seeing and how he speaks. I'm not saying he's gonna win the league. All I'm saying is how is he treating the players? From what I see, how he speaks to the players. So that's what I'm commenting on. I'm not saying, hey, no, this man's the best ever. And that's not what I'm saying at all. Just looking at what he's doing and how he's handling certain situations, you gotta say he's handling them well. Yeah.
Yeah, because I even look at how unprecedented things seem, especially not just with Slot coming in, because we've known one manager for the past 8 years. So not just with Slot coming in, but with how the squad is being handled, how the youth players are being handled, as well as how the window is being handled. So because we're the only Premier League team, Liverpool are the only Premier League team that haven't made a signing. So it's either one or two things. Well, obviously, Zubimendi, there's that old Zubi Doobi Doo drama.
Yeah.
A whole movie for like 3 weeks with Zubimendi, and ultimately decided that he wants to stay in Sosa. No, salute to him for that. No harsh feelings there, my brother. But it seems like it's either one of two things. Liverpool are scrambling in the background, Richard Hughes and them, in terms of making the signing they want. Or Slot is very happy with the squad he has, and if they so happen to make one or two signings, that's an added bonus. So it's seeming like one or two things, because he seems to be repeating himself, and he even used a bit of expletive words when they asked him about Gravenberch in the 6 and whatnot. He basically said if he was cocky, he would have got taken off. But he used the S word. So if he was cocky, he would have got taken off. Simple as that, but he wasn't.
And that's how he operates.
Yeah, that's how he operates. Dutch people are very straightforward. So it's looking like either one of those two things. Me personally, I see one or two signings in this last week. I see it. Do I expect it? No, because with Liverpool, you just you just never know with Liverpool. But I see it. If I had to guess, I see it. But what do you think there? Because maybe we're hopping because we're Liverpool fans. We'll move on to the other teams. Maybe we're hopping on Liverpool a bit too much. But before we move on, what do you think is about that? That he's happy with the squad, and even if we carry on with the season without a signing, well, what do you scheme?
I think it was banking on Superman, and because he agreed and then recanted, I think it messed everything up, because that was the main position, like the 6, like the guys have discussed before many times, the 6 and that backup centre back. Okay, so now we're still left with 4 centre backs, and it's 3 are very good, but Phillips is more of a stopgap. He's not gonna play many games, but probably cup games. But I don't know if there's other youngsters that they see from the academy that they feel will be good enough to fill that gap. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's the thinking behind it, but I think we do at least need a 6 and a centre back. And
definitely,
apparently, it's Zubimendi or no one. And
that's the word.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe there is still hope for that signing. I'm not too sure, and maybe it's like a January signing, and they think we can make it till January with the squad. But then there is that big thing of Salah leaving for the AFCON.
You see now.
And we've got a few forwards, but I've seen we've been linked with right wingers before. So, and I think Slot's his last interview when he singled out Salah I think that's just like a reassurance to Salah to say, yeah, right, you're going AFCON, and we're probably looking at a right winger, but it's just to cover you. It's not you're not out the team.
Right.
You're not forgetting what you've done for this team. So it looks like if we do sign in, if it's not this window, if it's January, it's going to be centre back 6 and a right wing. But I think they are just focused on particular players.
Yeah.
And ever since this whole Zubi Doobi thing, they went black up. They just shut it down.
I think they went for the whole, okay, let's go with the whole public thing. And then when it backfired, they're like, hey, let's close shop and let's just deal with things in the dark. Because
so now
we
nobody
look
knows. Everybody's
swag.
guessing. Yeah, and
so that's a good thing. Because even Joyce and them and Ornstein and them are very quiet, because remember during the Zubi Doobi thing, they were posting hitting articles like every day.
Yeah, giving us
and now it seems like it's
man tied his shoelace today and all. Hey, yeah, everything.
That's so fair. Fabrizio with that thing there. Copy paste merchant. But yeah, it seems like the window, we'll see how it goes. Because it just doesn't make too okay. This is my, before we continue, this is like my kind of my logic. It just doesn't make sense that you're selling quite a few of these promising academy players, these young players. Sepp, they Bobby Clark went to Leipzig. Carvalho. I see Owen Beck might leave as well. Sepp van der Berg. And the sales is looking at it's like around, it's almost 70 million now. So you're trying to tell me now these also just using this using this window for profits. I don't know. It just seems a bit too naive. Because they know there's gonna be an uproar.
So. For me, I don't think so, because the Zubi Doobi deal fell. That's what changed it. That deal was supposed to be done, but I think they shouldn't have. Like, I think they were being nice to him and like allowing him time. You can't be all that. You have to be ruthless. But who knows? Like, who knows what happens now? But they have to look at other options. If he says he's never going to move, they're going to have to look at other sixes. There's plenty of other sixes that can play.
Like we said,
but I get why they wanted him. But I get why they wanted him. He is more of that like Busquets type. Like they don't do
deep line play.
They don't catch your eye. They don't catch your eye too much. But just one body movement shifts the other team's whole their whole formation.
Exactly.
Like you see that. Like I didn't watch a lot of him to focus on him when I watched Sociedad, because players like Kubo and them take your they attract your interest more when you're watching Sociedad. But
Kubo.
just hearing others talk about him and then watching, I could see why he's like that. That silent killer. He's just there. He's just there, and he's doing his job quietly,
silently doing his craft.
And I think there's a lot of focus on Gravenberch, but actually what Gravenberch was doing was being a silent killer. But it's just that because he was playing in a 6, there was a lot of attention that this guy is not a 6, but he's playing in a 6. So there was a lot of attention on that. But in terms of the role, he did it well. And that's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be like just this thing in the background that you don't really take too much notice of, but it's keeping the team ticking.
Right. No, of course.
Yeah.
And I think with Slot as well, with his style of play, like we said, it's not completely heavily different from Klopp, but it seems like watching this slot team from preseason into the Ipswich game is that they want to keep the ball more than a Klopp team. Right? With a Klopp team, it is very
definitely.
decisive. The
Direct.
players moved
Yeah.
more than the ball. It is very decisive with how they pressed. And as soon as they got the ball from a counter press situation, the ball has gone quick. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
That's to the front three. Now it seems like with Slot, he wants the ball more. And I think that's what's kind of also helping Gravenberch in the, because I even listened to another interview of his as well, where he says no, he's played there before and he knows what to do there. But I think in a single pivot, like Fabinho only in the hole, in front of the centre backs, I think that's where he gets exposed more. But Slot seems more to play with a double pivot. So McAllister there with Gravenberch in most situations. It's McAllister and Gravenberch. So I think that's what helps Gravenberch as well, to focus on what he needs to do without worrying too much about having eyes behind his back. So,
and what's amazing is these were Klopp's last three signings: Gravenberch, Sobo, and McAllister. And Klopp barely played them together, but yet we're finding that Slot's playing them three more together. So it's actually an
especially
interesting
as Zobo
thing,
a lot more advanced. It's very interesting. But yeah,
enough about Liverpool.
Enough about. Just before we go off, before we sign out, until next week, what we can do is Champions League can be another discussion, but we in Premier League, we in deep in peak Premier League territory now. So in terms of maybe the top 6 or maybe the top 4, so how do you see the teams looking, like the main candidates? Brighton, what's going on there? You saw those also signings.
Brighton are buzzing too. Plus I got a 31-year-old manager.
Also because I remember like randomly coming across him because St. Pauli, where he comes from, the German team. Yes. They just came from nowhere and they hit 2 back-to-back promotions and they're in the Bundesliga. And they say a lot of it has to do with the manager. So 31-year-old guy hardly finished his career if he had one. And some of us are just gifted. I don't know.
Some of us are gifted tactically. They just understand the game and understand how to tell others how to. Because that's the trick. Is even being a teacher. What makes a good teacher is they know how to explain.
Exactly.
And we can't all explain things. How many times you ask someone, "Hey, what does that mean?" They say, man, the thing when you put the thing out, things.
That thing there, man. How?
Come on,
where you
busy,
put
man.
How?
It's not like Cara.
That thing there, man. Hey, what kind of shoe, bro?
Yeah. Yeah, so some people just got it. They know how to teach. They know how to teach. And because now he has to call Melna uncle, and then he has to tell Melna what to do. So that's a very other guy.
Melna just walks in his office randomly and parks down. Because he's the eldest.
Because confidence on you talking tactics here in the morning.
Okay, you know what? Maybe that was a bit of a broad question in terms of what you think about the top 6. Let's just do quickly. Maybe at today's at the weekend's fixtures, and then we can sign off with that.
Because the first game,
game
were very smooth. Game week 1. Like a lot of teams didn't play smoothly. They didn't play.
Yeah.
Like even us, our first off was terrible. Ipswich, they were playing at home, and Ipswich were unbeaten there. And so they were already rearing to go. The crowd was pumped. But we took a while. United they played decent. They played because it's the first game, man. Everybody's rusty.
Yeah, everybody is still like.
But they missed a lot of chances. They could have buried that game. Yeah. But City took a while to get going. Chelsea. Their first 33 players look quite good. I'm not gonna lie. There's
just before we continue, as we're recording now, there's a game that's on now live. It's Brighton and United. we at 40 minutes. Brighton 1-up. Danny Welbeck. Why does he like scoring against his old team? What kind of Welbeck?
Got it in for them. Got it in for them.
It's looking like one of those back and forth games because possession percentages seem similar. The amount of passes, shots on target, shots in general. It seems like one of those tight games.
But Brighton's gonna be an unknown. Brighton's gonna be an
Definitely.
unknown this season again. Under De Zerbi, they were unknown because he just kept changing how they play. So they looks like they're gonna be one of those teams. But yeah, like I say, the first games are a bit hit and miss. We can't really not much to take away from those first games to say.
Yeah.
Arsenal looks solid again. Like
Arsenal looks solid. Arsenal looks like it is regular programming.
Because who impressed me, like Timber, man. When Timber came on, I was like, yo, he's looking hungry. And so
those players
like
that they're just so self-assured. Those players that are just self-assured. To say, well, listen, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, he never missed a beat.
He's just so self-assured. Yeah.
So I think Arsenal up there this season, obviously.
Definitely.
Everyone knows what they're doing now. So it's not like and they're at that stage where they don't need too many signings. But they got the Italian model. And Timber's like a new signing too. And then they got Zubi or Merino. So they got him. So
let's put up the scores there. Yeah.
Yo, okay. Why are you ever ready to put up scores? Because this one here, the first one.
No, that's the live game. So it seems to be it's 1-0 so far. So that's the live game. So it's looking, as I said, it's looking like this tight one. So I think perhaps
so what's
United
the big
will
ones
come
for
back.
the weekend? I think the big one for the weekend was the.
I don't know where I'm going to, but anyway.
The
big one for the weekend is it's what
was it?
Can never be Wolves Chelsea, but
Villa
Arsenal. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Arsenal, okay. But looking at the we discussed United, our game, Arsenal look well. Brighton ran over Everton like that. Hey, that was
Everton.
But even the red card
looks like they started deducting their own points. Looks like let's beat them. Let's just start deducting.
Yeah, wait till all these governing bodies and all that. We wanna
we decide our own fate.
Oh, you can't tell us nothing. So that was a disaster for honestly I didn't check most of these, but Villa look like for some reason, right? Yeah, they're playing good, right? But it just looks like they are, especially with the amounts of players they signed in this window, they look like they're kind of resetting again up front. They got Watkins there, but it seems like they just certain pieces of the puzzle that Emery is trying to. So maybe they might kick on this season, but the West Ham game, I checked quite a bit of it. It was tight, very tight game.
Yeah,
but Villa came out on top.
Because who's West Ham's manager guy? Is it?
Isn't it Lopetegui?
Yes. No wonder it would be like
a
tactical battle.
Yeah.
Bournemouth, Forest. And then Brentford. Hey, Mbuemo is looking dangerous.
Hey,
Mbuemo and Wissa.
Mbuemo.
They are. Tony looks like he's staying now. Tony, what guy?
Maybe you checked. Hey,
no one's coming.
Maybe you checked. Hey, in Brentford, the betting Callis is close to the stadium, so.
Hey,
I don't know anything. If I'm on a Arsenal, I don't know. They are Cali. I don't know. I don't know where's the betting. I don't know where's the tote.
Hey. Yeah, not
so
sure.
I think he just chose comfortability. He chose to be comfortable. And then obviously the game of the weekend, the Chelsea and
club suits him.
Chelsea and City.
Yeah. Chelsea and City. Chelsea didn't play too bad. They
They
actually
played
played
well. I won't even
well.
lie.
But City, you
Especially,
can see,
and I
weren't
might
so
get
smooth.
shot for this. Cucurella. I mean, you look good.
Hey, Coco's a clown. But yeah, he did look good. But he's been
He
looking
did look.
good
You
since
never
the
know what
Euros.
plays.
I think the Euros really turned him around. It took
Definitely.
who got injured? I even forgot who was the left back. Somebody got injured, and he came in, and that changed his career. I can say because now, even if things don't work out at Chelsea, I think teams will want him because you can see that he's not a bad left back if the
Yeah.
tactics are right. And I think tactically it suits him better now with the new manager. So yeah,
Yeah.
but he did have a good game. He's actually,
He had a very good game.
but like I say, from the Euros, he's playing well.
Yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, but so I just think that it's still early. I mean, obviously there's teams within the top 6 that have that indicator. Like for instance, City. It just seems like they're gonna win it again. You know, it just seems like regular programming. There. Hopefully something wild can happen, but hey, it just seems like they
Arsenal
are the
look like they
team.
can stop him. Arsenal look like they can stop him.
I
Like
think Arsenal got it. Especially they're adding
like
from last year.
they're the most stable team. Like not much has changed. They
Definitely.
didn't lose any big players,
Yeah.
and that backline is solid, and it just made it more solid. And I think
Calfiore,
Timber's
you know.
different now. Like for me,
Yeah.
like I know it sounds weird that everything's banking on Timber, but when you got that player pushing others, because White is already good, but
Yeah.
then you got Timber that just wants. Timber looks like he just wants to play. So already now, so the defense is fine, but moving forward, you can see these players pushing each other there. That's what they needed. Havertz is slick, bro. Yeah, Havertz is smooth. I won't like what a
Seriously.
top signing.
Honestly
I have to
speaking,
salute
you
that
know,
signing because yeah,
definitely.
sure.
Yeah, and sorry, honestly speaking, I was, you all know me. I was the one. Like Havertz, come on, Havertz looks like he's just doing what he did with Chelsea. You
And
know
he
what I'm
was
saying? I
lost
was
in the
one of them.
beginning. No, but he was lost in the beginning. He was, but he was
Yeah.
learning a new role. And
Right.
people, as fans, we need to learn that everything takes time. And in the
Exactly.
beginning, he was a bit lost. He was a bit confused. But once he grew into his role and you could see what he's doing, it was like almost instantly you could see, all right, now, he knows what he's doing now. He's not looking lost. The others know what he's doing too. Because that's what happens when a player is lost. It's not that the player's just lost. The others around him are also confused as to what this was going to do. Is he going to run? Is he going to stand? Is he going to, So it affects everything. But once that came into be, he played Jesus out the team because he, like everything looks better when he's there. I know that's
definitely. It looks more cohesive.
And I have to salute Arteta for that because for him to see
Definitely.
that, I couldn't see that when he was playing in Chelsea. The man was running para. I actually thought Man United got the better player in Mount because Mount didn't look that bad at Chelsea. That was the thing. And but now, hey, Mount looks like he's lost. He's still lost. But like I said, everything takes time. Mount has been playing a few different positions too. So to be fair to him, it does take time. Injuries hampered his progression in the team. So yeah, has to compare those two signings from Chelsea, which they played similar roles and came from the same team for similar amounts of money. Arsenal bought Havertz and Man United got Mount. And yeah, so far Havertz has been that was a brilliant signing.
Definitely.
Yeah, because even you see him for Germany, he's also playing well for Germany too. Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a good session to
good session.
just recalibrate, and get back to where we were.
Yeah.
And just a kind of a reintroduction. But yeah, we're back. We gonna be pushing as much as we can because at the end of the
trying
day,
to talk
it's
about
just,
all the teams.
definitely
Because
it's
the
just a mutual
transfer
love
window
for football.
closes. The transfer window
Yes.
closes next week. So once that's done and all the signings are
then we'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk about all our new signings.
All our outgoings. Well, yeah, Shallow, it's been good. We will return. We will check out the second half of Brighton and United. It might be a firing second half. It's half time now. It's 1-0. But yeah, we shall return next week. It's been solid from outside the box.
Salute.
Spin up on.